Today, UFC Edmonton is in the books, and now we're moving forward to UFC Vegas 100, where the UFC has put forth a star-studded lineup for the 100th show in the Apex, including in the main event. We see the gatekeeper of all gatekeepers, Neil Magny. All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. It's your boy Matt, and we are here to go over not only UFC Edmonton that just went down last Saturday night, but also the preview UFC Vegas 100 going down this Saturday at the world famous Las Vegas Apex. So, let's start with UFC Edmonton. It went down in Edmonton, Canada. If you didn't know, if there are no Canucks out there watching. And here's the deal, man. I'm not getting ready to go over all of these fights. It was a pretty boring card. You know what I'm saying? It was a card you had to fight to stay awake. You know what I'm saying? You had to have a cup of coffee. You needed a Red Bull. You might have needed one of them, what they call yellow jackets from the gas station. You know what I'm saying? You might have needed some John Jones D pills to try to stay up. You know what I'm saying? You needed something because it wasn't working on Saturday night. But we're going to go over just a couple of the fights, and then we're only going to go over a couple of fights that I'm going to highlight off of the show this Saturday because it ain't much to deal with. So let's start with UFC Edmonton. Where in the main event, Brandon Moreno goes out there and puts on a clinic against Amir Albazi. He actually wins 5-round unanimous decision. Here's the thing, dude. At the end of the day, I was wrong on both counts on this one. Amir Albazi was not ready to make his return in the octagon after close to 2 years of being out. I didn't know that his injuries were that severe as far as like what he had going on with his spinal surgery, his back surgery and all that. I didn't know about all of that. I didn't know he lost feeling in one of his arms. I didn't know about all of that. With that being said, this was just a tall task to make a return to the octagon, being Brandon Moreno. And Brandon Moreno was clearly rejuvenated. I thought we were going to get the Brandon Moreno that we saw go out there the last couple of times. This was a different Brandon Moreno. He said he took time off. He spent time with his family. He didn't have as many media obligations because he wasn't constantly fighting for the title. And now he's got a renewed sense of wanting to fight in the UFC. So shout out to Brandon Moreno. He goes out there. He puts on a clinic against Amir Albazi. Amir Albazi's a good fighter. He just ran into one of the best fighters in flyweight on Saturday. So that was that. Let's move on to the co-main event, in which Aaron Blanchfield defeats Rose Namajunas via unanimous decision. This one's a little bit tricky, because in my opinion, I had Rose winning just barely, three rounds to 2. I think the 4th round was one of the rounds that was really in question. I don't know if I would have gave that one to Blanchfield, but nevertheless, man. Actually, no, it wasn't the 4th round. It might have been the 5th round. Either way it goes, dude. It wasn't, I don't know. It really wasn't the most exciting fight at all. And I mean, I felt like Rose did better, of course, on the feet, but I thought that Rose landed the more impactful shots. You know what I'm saying? Blanchfield did well at getting takedowns and getting Rose down to the ground and kind of keeping her there for a while. But I didn't feel like she did as much damage as Rose did on the feet. Nevertheless, though, Blanchfield moves forward. She calls for a fight against Alexa Grasso. I don't know if she wants that Alexa Grasso smoke, But nevertheless, dude, we'll see where she goes. And then for Rose, I mean, I don't know if Rose wants to make that cut back down to 115, so I guess we're just going to deal with her at 125. 125 is not the deepest division, so it won't take her but a few wins to get right back there, in title contention, but still. I'm not really sure where Rose goes. Where Rose should go is back to Trevor Whitman, because I feel like whoever her coach is coaching alongside Pat Barry, it just ain't working, bro. Like, I get it. I know Pat's your fiance or whatever, but, bro, Pat got to go as your primary head coach. When Rose hit Trevor Whitman, Rose was out there doing damage. Rose was unhittable. Rose had the best footwork in the division, and I think that would have translated to 125 as well. But on this night, Erin Blanchfield gets the win. This was a rough card, bro. Performance of the night went to Jasmine Jasdavicius as she defeated Ariana De Silva via submission. Pretty good little fight. Wasn't a whole lot going on. Ariane just crumpled on the ground and Jasmine did her thing. Jasmine still doesn't have any good ground and pound. Like, she has like no power when she has an opponent down and she starts to throw elbows and fists, and it's like, bro, she has no power. Like, work on that. Get the bag, lay the bag on the ground and wail on that muff. You know what I'm saying? Like, just weird. Anyway, we had at middleweight performance of the night. We had Marc-Andre Barriault go out there and get starched by Dustin Stoltzfus. Man, I don't know what Marc-Andre was thinking. So Marc-Andre, he gets swept to the ground early, if I'm not mistaken. And he spends pretty much the entire first round on the canvas. And then he finally manages to scramble back to his feet. And when he gets back to his feet, he goes in berserker mode. He abandons all technique and defense and goes at Dustin. And Dustin caught him and stiffened him up. Eliza Feather, stiff as a board, knocked him into the next realm. You know what I'm saying? Knocked him into the negative zone. You know what I'm talking about? So I didn't see that coming. Shout out to Dustin. He goes out there and gets the win. Another performance of the night bonus goes to Charles Jourdain, who goes out there and defeats Victor Henry via submission in round 2. Hey, man. Charles Jourdain. Hey, man. Air Jourdain, he looking good at bantamweight. Don't sleep on Air Jourdain at bantamweight. Looked like the cut didn't drain too much out of him. He looked pretty good, man. Looked pretty good. He had the speed, he had the technique. This might be his division. So good for him to drop down a weight class and it actually be successful. Now, I'd like to see him at a little bit stiffer competition than Victor Henry, but nevertheless, shout out to him. Also, performance of the night bonus went to Youssef Zalal, who goes out there and melts Jack Shore with a knee. Jack Shore tried to go for a takedown or kind of dipped his head and boop. It wasn't even like a Jorge Masvidal, like, I'm going to blow your brains out knee. It was just a bink and the dude went out, man. But shout out to Youssef Zalal as he goes ahead and pulls that one off. So now let's switch over now to UFC Vegas 100 going down in, of course, the world famous Las Vegas Apex, in which in the main event we have Neil Magny, the eternal gatekeeper, stepping in there against Carlos Prates. Okay, so I got Carlos. I ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. I know that Neil Magny can always go out there and pull a rabbit out of the hat and get a win, but I'm going to go along with Carlos. His stand-up is so amazing. His timing, his accuracy, when he chooses to throw his shots, his distance management is outstanding. I think all of those will spell disaster for Neil Magny. I got Carlos. In the co-main event, we have Cody Garbrandt stepping in there, former champion, put some respect on his name, stepping in there with Miles Johns. Now, I know Cody is sus as sus gets when it comes to him getting wins. You know, I don't care what the training camp looks like. I don't care what new tactics he pulled out. I don't care about stem cells. You know, I don't care what the homie does, bro. You put the slightest bit of faith in Cody Garbrandt and times, look, you'll be drinking your tears. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, Miles Johns, he ain't reliable either. So when you got two unreliable guys, I'm actually going to go along with Cody Garbrandt, former champion of the world, defeated Dominic Cruz. If y'all must have forgot, and I know why you forgot, because I've forgotten many a fight. I mean, this homie just keeps getting chinned. But I think he got his chin back on the phone, and they've rekindled their relationship because his chin held up in the last fight against Davison Figueiredo, but the rest of him didn't. But I'm going to go along with Cody Garbrandt to go out there and get the win. I think Cody, of course, is the veteran. He's been around a long time, former champion. He's got to be sick of getting these losses. And Miles Johns is a huge step down from former flyweight champion Davison Figueiredo, which was Cody's last loss. So I'm going along with Cody. Another fight I'm going to highlight is at middleweight. Gerald Meerschaert steps in there. GM3 steps in there against Renner de Ritter, coming over from one championship. This is a big signing, a big signee for the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Gave this dude a pretty good contract, bringing him in, throwing him in there with GM3. There is definitely a world where GM3 goes out there and submits the homie at the end of the second round if he starts to get tired. But let's not think negatively. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a GM3 fan. In that case, feel free. I'm going to go along with Renner de Ritter to go out there and get the win. Hopefully. We'll see. Another fight I wanted to highlight is Elezu Zaleski dos Santos stepping in the octagon with Nicholas Dalby. I got Nicholas Dalby, man. Nicholas Dalby is a very underrated fighter. The homie goes out there, his stand-up is good, his grappling is good, and his takedown defense is good. And a lot of the times, if he gets taken down, sometimes he will wait the round out and wait till the round ends and starts in the next round. He's on the feet and he does his thing. He'll capitalize on that. I mean, he can definitely get back to his feet, but I've noticed sometimes it doesn't seem like he wants to waste the energy. But still, I got Nicholas Dalby in that one. As far as a good scrap, just probably two dudes just going to go in there and chuck them. Go in there and throw them hands, throw them fists. You know what I'm talking about. Matthew Simmelsberger stepping in there with Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke. I got Charles Radke, but this should be a scrap. Because if look, Matthew Simmelsberger, this homie could give less than F. You know what I'm saying? This homie will go in there, he'll throw some fists. He'll throw some hands. So I think that's going to be a good all-out fist fight. You know what I'm saying? I got Charles Radke, as long as it lasts. I got Charles Radke, though. Outside of that, another fight I wanted to highlight at bantamweight, Cody Stamann stepping in there against Damon Blackshear. I got Damon Blackshear, but I'm not sleeping on Cody Stamann. He's still got a little bit left in the tank. You know what I'm saying? I know at times it looked like he didn't have anything left, but he's still got a little bit left in the tank, I believe. Now, if Damon goes out there and takes his soul after this, I don't know. After this fight, I don't know. But I got Blackshear to go out there and get the win. I like his style. I like his stand-up. I like the timing of his takedowns, or at least the way he chooses to use trips and things of that nature to get his opponent to the ground. I got Damon Blackshear. outside of that, man, I'm not really tripping a whole lot about the rest on this card. Just wanted to highlight a few things. Just wanted to shout out Brandon Moreno for going out there and doing Brandon Moreno things. Look like vintage Brandon Moreno. You know what I mean? The assassin, baby. You know what I'm talking about? And in the main event of this one, I got Carlos Prates to go out there and, shout out to Neil Magny. Good dude, nice dude, nice guy. Never met him. But I got Carlos to go out there and get the win. So, that is it for this. Please let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought about the show over the weekend. Even if you just thought, bro, Matt, I hated the show over the weekend. If you did not like UFC Edmonton, I get it. It's all gravy. Let me know what you think about the upcoming UFC Vegas 100, in which they spared no expense with the card that they're putting on. Nevertheless, man, please let me know. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. We're going to try to hype it up going into this weekend. And once again, I do want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.